You all know me. I grew up there. That's my house. You know that. No matter what you think, no matter what you hope, you can't stop this.
¡Sálganse a la chingada, pinches fantasmas huevones! ¡Nadie los quiere aquí! ¡No son invitados! ¡No pagan renta! ¡Get out of here, motherfuckers! ¡Son of a bitches! ¡No se escondan de mí, cobardes! ¡Pinches fantasmas buenos para nada! Así es que váyanse para la chingada y no regresen.
Doña, no sea mala. Aunque sea de un Capri Sun, señora. No sea mala. California rent's expensive.
You wouldn't believe the gruesome things this ex-high-ranking witch had to say about Halloween.
And especially during Halloween. Halloween is the time when they are killing babies at a high rate. And I'm telling you, parents, you have to pray. Stop. What business does a Christian have with Halloween? I mean, you find Christians also putting on skeletons and they're also celebrating Halloween. Do you know how children are being sacrificed during that time? Many children die. Saints, we don't have to copy the things of the world. How can a Christian celebrate Halloween? It baffles my mind because the amount of rituals that take place during that time, and as you participate in it, you're also declaring that you're part of it. You know, because anything that is out of the Word of God, where in the Bible does God tell us to celebrate Halloween?
Let's talk about all the things that actually happen in the spirit on Halloween that you are not going to see in the natural realm. As someone who was a second-generation white witch for over a decade, you can trust what I have to say. To understand first that this is the season of the witches is one of the most important things that you can realize. The witches, the warlocks, the Satanists, the occultists, the New Agers, they all know that this season of the year is extremely spiritually charged, and you will therefore see the repercussions of that in the natural. Anyone that partakes in this season in a spiritual manner of this such will tell you point blank period to your face that on the night of Halloween the spiritual veil is at its thinnest, and they will spend half the year to the entire year preparing for this one night. The thing that makes me sad about that is to realize that the devil spends 364 days a year preparing strategically in the spirit for one single day to come against Christians, and what we see Christians doing is partaking in that day along with them instead of spending 364 days defending strategy against the devil. Makes you think, who is more dedicated to mission here? A list of things that you should know starting this year to protect you and your family is number one, in the stores where you go and find these costumes that you can dress your kids up with, that you can dress yourselves up with, these aisles have been hexed, they have been cursed, there have been rituals and even sacrifices placed over these costumes so that when you put them on your children and when you put them on yourselves, you are unknowingly coming into a spiritually binding contract, opening a door legally in the spirit to change and alter your identity even just for one night. You guys are going to think I'm crazy, but if I haven't already lost you, you're in for the long run. Put your daughter in a mermaid costume and wonder why 6 months from now she's having nightmares, sleep paralysis, and she's being monitored by a marine spirit. Number two, that candy is not any different. The candy that's often found in the same aisles as these costumes has had just as many spells, hexes, and curses put over them, except for these are to wish death upon your family, to wish sickness, illness, disease, long-term cancer upon you and your family. It is to destroy the temple of the Holy Spirit, specifically and strategically. If you think that these things don't actually happen, my friend, I hope you can continue living in naivety and not ever face the reality of these things, but trust me, they're true. Number 3, all of these demonic decorations that we cover our houses with from top to bottom, our porches, our entryways, our bedrooms. You guys understand the significance of these things? This is where you enter your home. This is where you lay your head down and sleep. These are intimate places that you are covering with demonic altars and inviting and allowing unknowingly demonic unclean spirits to come in and infiltrate your home and giving them a literal welcome sign to doing so. Number 4, carving pumpkins and putting demonic faces on your porch step as if it's not also an altar to the demonic. Sounds crazy until you realize that the origin of this practice came from people being aware of the spiritual veil being thin, aware of the heightened spirituality around this season, and aware of the real demonic spirits behind it, and so they would carve scary faces into pumpkins and paint their abode with them so that it would ward off these evil spirits, and completely unknowingly inviting them in by doing so. Practice literally came from a truthful spiritual awareness, and whereas they had false gods and they were practicing these things in a way that was completely ineffective, they knew. Number 5, if you don't prayer walk around your neighborhood or your home, you should start, because witches, warlocks, they walk around your neighborhood. They're prepared. They're strategizing. They are walking around the perimeter of your neighborhood to take spiritual territory in preparation for that night. They cast spells, they do rituals, their covens get together to form more power in a territorial area, and for the most part, completely unbeknownst to you. I know that I'll have witches and other people commenting on this video saying, well, I don't know what you were in, but I'm not doing any of that. It's all for light and love. Girl, do you think that when I was in it, I thought I was doing anything bad? I surely didn't. When I was going around these places and finding energy charging points and all of these things, I thought it was to help me, but what Satan really had me deceived of was that it was to destroy the kingdom of God. For the most part, nothing that the devil does looks inherently bad, especially when you're in it. Proverbs says that the seeing eye and the hearing ear, they only come from the Lord, and aside from him, you will not be able to see what you are doing and why it's bad. But thankfully, since coming out of witchcraft and giving my life fully to Jesus, living on fire for him and following his word, being a doer and not a hearer only, he has exposed to me the truth around this holiday, the truth of the practices that I was involved in, and the truth of the things that I was lied to and deceived with as tactics and tools for the enemy to use me as I followed him naively. And just to remind you, Satan doesn't reward anybody for free. There's always a trade.
This is Ephesians 5:11. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. Ka'Allah Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai B'Shem Rakakodash, which are the true Hebrew names of the Most High Father, Yahweh, which is Hebrew for He is, and for the only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, which is the true Hebrew name of the Messiah, which is Hebrew for He is salvation. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, who the house of David reborn again in this generation. And shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, we were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the videos we just watched and how they have to do with tonight's worldly holiday, that being Halloween, or as it used to be called back in its pagan roots, Samhain. Now, as in those videos you saw, right, it covered a whole bunch of different spiritual topics, right? Let's go ahead and go to the first video. Okay, the first video is from a movie, or should I say a TV series that came out on Showtime. You can now watch it on Apple, or I think even Amazon Prime. It's called Penny Dreadful, City of Angels. And it's a horror show or whatnot, but it covers the events that took place there in Chavez Ravine, which basically is the land which the Dodger Stadium sits on now. Basically, Esau tricked a bunch of Issacharites out of that land, and in doing so, there was a lot of civil unrest. And this show embellishes on it a bit, and it shows how, you know, the spirit, which is this woman. Let me see if I can catch her on here. There you go. How this woman here, she's basically a left-hand angel, okay? A spirit that influences people to do certain things. This is why this guy here looked like he was in a trance. But after she whispered what appeared like hateful words of inspiration into him, he shot, which he looked surprised by, right? And we see this happen all the time, right? We see people who shoot people and then they start apologizing, or, oh, I didn't know what I was doing. And that's where it comes from, right? And this also is biblical, right? When we get into the historic records of the kings, you could actually look up how the Lord took down one of the kings of the northern tribes. Right here, the Lord had asked all the angels, in this case the left-hand angels, who would go down and deceive this king so that way he would fall in the battle, right? And this is what one of the demons or left-hand angels said. 2 Chronicles 18:21. Actually, it started at 19. It says, "And Yahweh said, Who shall entice Ahab, king of Israel, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one spake, saying, After this manner, and another saying, After that manner. Then there came out a spirit, and stood before Yahweh, and said, I will entice him. And Yahweh said unto him, Wherewith? And he said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And Yahweh said, Thou shalt entice him, and thou shalt also prevail. Go out and do even so." So that's basically what we're seeing depicted here, right? It's a left-hand angel being a lying spirit in the ears of man, okay? And in this case, this spirit basically enticed this cop to do what he did, and also enticed this man whose friend got shot to also seek revenge and go and start killing cops, okay? So the reason I bring this up is because just like the spirits in this movie are depicting influencing people, they're also out there in the world around us, especially tonight, as the lady said, right? They're out there influencing other people who love this holiday, right? We all have friends, we all have people that we know that say they just love Halloween. Well, there's people out there who wait all year for this, right? And a lot of them are demons. And I'm not talking about literal demons, though they may have demons behind them, but they're just fucking wicked people. A lot of them Edomites, right? And even a lot of them are our people, right? But the thing is they're so defiled by this world because of the things they're into, the things that, how they defile their body, that these demons come into them or around them and basically influence them like they did in this movie. Now, this funny ass video, I had to actually play it, Akim, right? Because like as Apostle Tahar says, man, you gotta have fun with this thing sometimes, right? This is a funny ass Latin movie. This woman is basically trying, I think that's her mom. I never watched this movie, but I know about it. And this is a Latino comedian, Jay Valentino. If you like Latin comedy, man, you gotta follow this guy on Instagram. He's fucking hilarious. But he plays the ghost in this famous scene where this lady is trying to get her mom from stop being depressed. So she kind of puts on this show of, expelling these demons from the house. And and that's why you see the mom is all surprised. And though it was funny as fuck, it was funny as fuck, right? Homie right here, he plays the spirit being shooed out. Though this is being done in a comedic fashion, this actually is true, okay? When you're out there in your house, in your surroundings, in your house, and you pray over things, if you burn sage, you throw up prayers to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, you ask the Lord to protect you, you pray in Hebrew, you do positive things with positive, frequencies, that's going to have an effect in the spiritual realm. So just like this lady that was banishing these spirits, right? Right? This stuff really actually happens, man. Right? You have the apostles themselves, give a testimony when they went to an apartment complex and they basically exorcised it from all these little knickknacks and things that could have been possessed. And they basically removed the spirits out of that house. They literally did what this lady did, but obviously not in a comedic fashion. They literally did it. And that being said, by you participating in events like Halloween, or like the lady said, going down these aisles and putting on costumes, dude, these these wicked ass witches out there, which there literally are witches, as this woman, she testified, they are doing literal rituals of sacrifice on children and on animals. This is why you always hear about mutilated animals or missing people between October 13th and October 31st, right? These devils love numerology, okay? Because numerology, gematria, that all goes back to Babylon, okay? And the Israelites, when they were in Babylon, they picked that shit up there, and that's why they brought it back, and it comes out of the Talmud, Sorry to reveal that to you, Akim. A lot of you don't know, because I see a lot of our people still going into that, but that shit's wicked, right? You don't want to use that as a way to navigate through the world. Yeah, it's interesting to watch, and it does have some significance, but you shouldn't delve or rely on it, because again, that's all left hand knowledge, because all it does is it just basically identifies the symmetry and all the signs of heaven, and it tries to enumerate it. That being said, what this woman revealed is that there are magical rituals going on, and this former white witch, she confirmed it, right? These devils, they literally go around your neighborhood, they go down. I didn't even think about that, right, until I watched this video, but it makes sense, right? These are the same devils you see at Walmarts, at Targets, doing all weird shit down these aisles, going down candy aisles. I didn't even consider it, but yeah, man, these devils, they are putting curses on all that shit, man. Because why? Because they got nothing better to do, and that's the demons on them that make them think that this is something cool to fucking do. Okay? So this is why we got to be careful, and we got to watch out with what we're doing, because what does the Bible tell us? This is Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day. And having done all to stand, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Meaning, you got to get into this Bible. You got to get into the truth. You got to surround yourself with this as if it's armor, because it is, Akim. It is spiritual armor. And though some of you may not believe it, we're literally in a spiritual war going on right now, okay? There is a spiritual war going on, and if you're watching these lessons, if you're paying attention, if you're learning, and you're researching, and you're studying the Bible, you are in a spiritual war yourself. These other people here who are getting fucking distracted by the Dodgers win, and the P. Diddy, all this type of stuff, they're all being distracted while their enemies are spiritually casting spiritual arrows at them. Okay, and it's time for us not to be ignorant of these things. Okay, we are more than what we could perceive. There is a higher realm which we are a part of, and which we are also blinded to, unfortunately, materially, but spiritually, if you become attuned to it by learning how to see the signs, learning how to pick up on these spirits, and the survival people, man, you become that spiritual man. You can see spiritual signs. I remember when I first came into this, I didn't really get a lot of spiritual signs, but a lot of the Akim, Kahalaya Bashima Shai, they showed me how to look out for signs, how to gauge people, how to look at their how to look at all the signs, the things they do, right? When a sign falls, or something, some word is over something else. Like, these are all spiritual signs you could see, okay? And what else? This is, and because, check this out, right? Because when we are in our right mind, and when I say we, I'm talking about us Israelites, Jacob, okay? When we are in our right mind and we know what's going on, and we can see these spiritual signs, we can identify them, then none of this shit has an effect on us. This is why we could laugh a lot of this stuff off, right? Because it doesn't affect us, right? And you ever hear, and I'm sure a lot of you all have heard about witches, they try to curse somebody, and they say, oh, we can't curse that person, or the spirits won't attack them. Just like it did in the book with Balaam, right? Balaam and the talking donkey, when he tried to go put out a curse. He was a Moabite, like astrologer, right? A prophet for the for the nation of Moab, or so-called Chinese. Well, the king of Moab at the time hired Balaam, the Moabite prophet, to go and curse us Israelites because the king of Moab was scared of us and thought we were getting too mighty. Well, Balaam comes back and says, I can't curse these people. They're going to be the rulers of the world. They're the chosen people. So that being said, when us Israelites, when we are in our right mind, we know what's going on. This is for us. This is Numbers 23 and 23. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, right? Jacob being the Negro, Latino, Native Americans, and anybody whose father's lineage goes back to that bloodline. Neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time it shall be said of Jacob and Israel, what hath God wrought? You see that? So we have that spiritual protection because, again, once we're right with the Lord, we have these angels encamped around us, right? What does it say? The angels encampeth around those that fear the Lord. Okay? And there ain't none of these left-hand angels going to come up against us when we're, being guarded by these angels. And besides that, it tells you this, that this magic is all going away, Hakim. So these devils, I'm sure they're doing a lot of shit right now, or they're trying to do a lot of shit to gain back that power they used to, once have access to. So now they're probably being more diligent. They're doing more stuff. Where do you think all those missing kids have gone? I'm sure a lot of them are, someplace here or there, but I bet you a lot of them have ended up in sacrificial rituals. This is Wisdom of Solomon 17 and 7. For the illusion of art magic they were put down, and their vaunting in wisdom was reproved with disgrace. So you see all these witches, the Beyoncés, the J-Los, the Lady Gagas, the Abramovics, all these fucking devils that are out here doing these rituals. All that shit's gonna come to an end, and you could even feel it right now. Look at the spirit around you. Nobody's getting really dressed up for Halloween except for the people who are really just lost in this world. You're not seeing trick-or-treaters going out on the street, and it's not as big as it used to be. And why is that? Well, because the spirit of wickedness, when it comes to these pagan holidays, it's just not there. The Lord is striking it down, right? He's reproving these art magic rituals, okay? And the thing is that our people, they don't know this, and because they don't know this, they ultimately become victims. They become the fucking sacrifices. They become ignorant participants, and that's why it tells us this. This is Hosea 4 and 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. So those people who are lost in this world, who are stuck on the distractions of mainstream media, who are just not paying attention to what's going on, and they're being fucked up, things just are breaking for them. Because, this is a small testimony. Today I went to work and holy shit, man. One problem after another problem after another problem. I work in IT, right? Support. So it's my job to fix people's problems, okay? And today was one of the busiest days where shit just was not working for some reason, right? From the morning to the time I left. Even after work, I was still doing support on my phone. So you see, Hakim, the spirits are roused up. They're going crazy, and they could be doing things as simple as causing flat tires, making you stub your toe, all the way to fucking having somebody killed. So that being said, we got to be careful, not only on nights like this on Halloween, but other nights. Because again, remember, these devils, they have all these satanic holidays, and they perform all these rituals year round. But there's always going to be times where it's heavier than the others. So it's our job to be on the lookout for this, and always keep our heads on a swivel, so we could be safe and be circumspect in this environment where we're at. This is Jeremiah 10 and 2. Thus saith Yahweh Bashim Ashai, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed by them. So that being said, Hakim, remember, we shouldn't participate in these pagan holidays. don't even freaking dress up and participate, right? If you attach yourself to this system, you involve yourself in these, workings of darkness, you're going to be tied to it, okay? So even though you may not be practicing Satanism and Luciferianism, that costume you buy for your kid, the costume that you wear, the candy you consume, that shit may all have fucking curses on it, and it basically gives a false impression of what is righteousness and what is wickedness. So hopefully this video was edifying. Until the next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh B'Shem El Shai B'Shem Rakokradash. Shalom.